we are kicking things off with an incredible story about young ambition. Third grader Ishan Kalu from Dorothy C. York Innovation Academy has taken his passion for science and art to the absolute edge of space. He designed a mission patch featuring an astronaut and a rocket floating against the moon and stars. And this incredible artwork is actually heading to the International Space Station on a SpaceX mission. We dive into how this student blended creativity and engineering to make history happen.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the monumental race to the moon and the massive infrastructure being built to support it. SpaceX is rapidly developing a huge Starship Factory on Florida's Space Coast, and $1.8 billion investment that is set to become the birthplace for rockets carrying NASA astronauts back to the lunar surface. We examine the timeline, the readiness, and the serious geopolitical stakes as experts warn about potential delays affecting the Artemis missions. Now, we shift our focus to the skies over Canada and the mystery of what we see up there. The Canadian Space Agency has confirmed that a strange, blurry object seen across British Columbia and Alberta last week is consistent with a SpaceX rocket launch from California. Engineers explain exactly what this space jellyfish phenomenon is, detailing how rocket maneuvers can create visible clouds of propellant that refract sunlight for us to see. And finally, we bring it home with the impact of that powerful rocket technology on everyday communities. Residents in South Texas are suing SpaceX, claiming that the repeated test flights of the Starship rocket have caused significant damage to their homes through noise and vibrations. We break down the sheer power of the Starship engine and what this lawsuit means for the future of space exploration and public safety. Stay with us for the full story. Ishan Kalu, a third-grade student at Dorothy C. York Innovation Academy in Apollo Beach, Florida, is set to send his artwork to the International Space Station as part of a SpaceX mission. Kalu won a district-wide competition for Hillsborough County by merging his passions for science and art. Kalu participated in the Student Spaceflight Experiments Program, SSEP, Mission 21, by designing an official mission patch. He described his process as blending his love for art and science. His winning design features an astronaut and a rocket floating against a backdrop of the moon and stars, symbolizing the freedom of microgravity. Kalu expressed curiosity about the potential effects of space exposure on his artwork, wondering if the paper or colors would change after being exposed to the International Space Station's environment. The SSEP Mission 21 involves strict logistical requirements, with patches needing to be 3.5-inch by 3.5-inch squares of paper. Once sent to the ISS, the artwork is expected to spend 4 to 6 weeks in orbit. Upon its return to Earth, Kalu will receive the piece, officially certified as having traveled through space. Kalu is thrilled about the experience, calling it an exciting and joyful event. This initiative is part of a larger effort to engage hundreds of students in STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math, demonstrating that involvement in space exploration is accessible to all. Kalu's artwork will be packed into a SpaceX vehicle and launched from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in August. Kalu was the top winner for the Hillsborough County Elementary Division, while Maddox Sewell from Turkey Creek Middle School also secured a win in the 6th through 8th grade competition. SpaceX is accelerating its lunar ambitions with the development of a massive Starship production facility on Florida's Space Coast, a critical step in NASA's plan for lunar return missions. The project, dubbed the Starship Factory, is slated for completion by the end of 2026 and will serve as the primary manufacturing hub for the rockets intended to transport NASA astronauts back to the moon. The race to the moon is intensifying as SpaceX prepares for another major test flight. The Starship vehicle is currently stacked and ready on the launch pad following significant upgrades implemented to resolve failures encountered in previous versions. Ken Kremer of Space Up Close confirmed that a recent wet dress rehearsal signals that a launch is imminent, emphasizing the necessity of these modifications for safety and functionality. NASA continues to rely on Starship as its key lander for the Artemis missions, but schedule slippages are causing concern among experts. While Artemis 3 is targeted for a late 2027 launch, internal readiness dates for certain components have slipped into 2028. Kremer issued a stark warning, suggesting that SpaceX's delays could have geopolitical ramifications, stating that the program is years behind schedule and raises the specter of competitors, such as China, potentially reaching the moon first. The focus of development is now shifting to Florida, where a $1.8 billion investment is fueling the construction of the massive factory near the Kennedy Space Center. SpaceX has indicated its goal to conduct its first Florida-based Starship launches by the end of the current year, pending federal approvals. Beyond the factory construction, analysts are now focusing on operational readiness. Zach Aubert of the Launch Pad Network highlighted the immediate concern. Will they have vehicles ready and in orbit? He questioned, noting that questions about the fleet's readiness are now directed more toward SpaceX than toward NASA. The Canadian Space Agency has confirmed that a blurry object reported across British Columbia and Alberta last week was likely a SpaceX rocket launch originating from California that same evening. Residents reported seeing a large white shape moving across the horizon between approximately 10:15 and 10:30 p.m. Pacific Time on May 5th. The CSA stated that while it does not officially identify unidentified aerial phenomena, it determined the sighting was consistent with maneuvers from a SpaceX rocket launch from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. A spokesperson for the CSA explained that the timing and location aligned with a deorbit burn, fuel venting, or other upper stage maneuvers that can generate visible clouds of propellant refracting sunlight from the ground. Satellite operations engineers reviewed public images and concluded that what was filmed was likely a space jellyfish. This phenomenon occurs when a rocket executes propulsion maneuvers, releasing propellant clouds that refract sunlight under specific atmospheric conditions. South Texas residents are taking legal action against SpaceX, claiming damage to their homes resulting from repeated Starship rocket test flights. Approximately 80 homeowners have filed a collective lawsuit seeking $10 million from Elon Musk's company. The plaintiffs allege that the noise, vibrations, and sonic booms generated by the test flights have caused tangible damage, including cracked walls, broken windows, roof movement, and structural shifts in their residences. SpaceX has received FAA authorization to launch the Starship rocket up to 25 times annually in 2025, an increase of 5 times from the previous year. While the lawsuit does not detail specific property damage, plaintiffs are using the sheer power of the Starship as evidence. The rocket utilizes a 33 Raptor 2 engine booster, generating 16.7 million pounds of thrust, comparable to 618 standard airline engines. A study from Brigham Young University indicates that a single Starship launch produces noise equivalent to at least 10 SpaceX Falcon 9 launches. The plaintiffs argue that SpaceX demonstrated a conscious indifference to resident safety, meeting the legal standard for gross negligence. Furthermore, locals are pursuing claims of trespassing, asserting that the acoustic energy from the launches invades their homes without permission. The affected residents live in areas such as Laguna Vista, Port Isabel, and South Padre Island, all located within 5 to 15 miles of the launch site. This legal action follows earlier incidents, including a first launch where the launch pad was destroyed, sending debris 3/4 of a mile away. In response to environmental concerns, Musk previously stated that there had been no meaningful environmental damage known to the company. This lawsuit highlights growing tensions between SpaceX operations and local communities, adding to the legal challenges the company faces, including another pending case before the Texas Supreme Court regarding the frequency of launch closures at Boca Chica Beach.